Polybombed and opening up. I am not the oop. Oop is you, Tom 4 terrific. Polybombed and opening up. Originally posted to r, non-monogamy. Trigger warning. Infidelity. Emotional abuse and manipulation. Less than. Original post November 10, 2023. I've been married to D for 5 years and we are both in our mid-30s. Last year D told me she thinks she is bisexual and would like to explore having a relationship with a woman. I asked if she wanted to explore as in a hookup or a real relationship, to which she replied an actual relationship. She felt she had so much love to share, but my concern was if she had enough time to share, and I said I wasn't on board and I thought the subject was closed. About 4 months ago, Dee brought it up again and said she would be happy with just an FWB arrangement and not an actual relationship. I was still hesitant, but it was a constant topic that kept coming up. I relented. Under the conditions, we do our research, books, podcasts, and see a couples counselor before opening up. Dee was ecstatic and we dove into several books and found a great therapist. Trying to do things right. One of the topics our therapist brought up was why we were opening up and if there was someone either of us had in mind. Dee admitted that she had someone she had been talking to who had encouraged her to open our relationship. This was a shock to hear for the first time, and our therapist said this was troublesome. After that first session, I confronted Dee and asked if she had done more than talk to this friend, and she swore that was all they had done. I asked to see her phone and she unlocked it and handed it to me. She had been talking with Kim for about a year, but there wasn't anything incriminating and no apparent gap in the messages. Just a two-way crush between them. There was a message from Kim right before this last polybombing episode where Kim said for Dee to initiate sex with me more often to soften me up. What I did find was 3 dating apps with Dee's profile on her phone. This caused a brief argument about jumping the gun, with Dee agreeing to delete the apps until after we were open. 3 months go by and we are getting closer to opening, and Dee is acting like it's Christmas time. Our last counseling session we went over our agreements and boundaries, and we got down to our messy list: coworkers, relatives, close friends, exes, and I wanted to add Kim to the list. Dee blew up, especially when our therapist said it was a reasonable request. Dee wouldn't speak to me on the way home, but when we got there she let me have it. I even showed her in 2 of the books we had read where it said opening for a specific person was a bad idea. I basically said it was a line in the sand for me. I would be just as happy remaining monogamous. She got mad and slept in the spare bedroom and would hardly talk to me for 2 days. Finally, she gave in and agreed to Kim being on the messy list, and we were officially open. A couple of days later Dee told me she had a date, and it seemed a bit quick to me. While she was in the shower I decided to check her phone, but the unlock code had changed. That's 2 red flags. Later that day she got on her phone and I saw the unlock code. That night I looked at her phone. The dating apps were still gone and there were messages between her and Kim trash talking me and planning their date. There were also references to having sex again. Emailed screenshots to my phone. So I felt like a chump, and the 2 of them played me like a fiddle. I stewed on it all night and part of the next day. Then I called a lawyer and had him start drawing up divorce papers. The lawyer was a peach. Not only did he put a rush on it, but they served Dee at our house just 2 hours before her date with Kim. Attached to the divorce papers was a printout of the last texts I read. She found me sitting on the patio. She was crying, but I didn't know if they were fake tears or not. When she asked, I lied and said I knew about it all along. I said it just means we won't be married anymore. You can have the freedom to hook up whenever with whoever you want. Just think of us as FWB. I got up to go have dinner with some friends and told her she needed to hurry and fix her face if she was going to be at Kim's house on time. She got home earlier than I thought she would and wanted to talk, but I went to bed and said we could talk tomorrow. Her eyes were all red and her makeup was all smeared. I still felt gutted, but I wasn't going to let her see that. Update November 12, 2023. My wife, D, polybombed me until I agreed to open up. But I said the woman, Kim, who was pushing her to open up our marriage was on our messy list, and she finally agreed. Within a week she already had a date with guess who? Kim. I felt betrayed and had D served with divorce papers the day of her date with Kim. Original post. She got home from her date with Kim earlier than I thought she would and wanted to talk, but I went to bed and said we could talk tomorrow. Her eyes were all red and her makeup was all smeared. The next morning started off on a negative foot. I asked her if Kim was worth throwing the last 5 years into the gutter. Then I started reading some of the texts where Kim and she were planning to open our marriage and hook up again, and some of the disparaging remarks about me between them. And so when I found all this out, I started planning a divorce since she lied and then broke our agreements. Especially about the messy list, which I considered cheating. Dee said she was still very much in love with me and didn't want a divorce. She wanted to go back to our marriage counselor and work things out. I told her I couldn't be married to a liar and a cheater. And she was the one who burnt down that pledge, and now we just need to move on. If we could be civil about it, I was open to an FWB or roommate, with benefits arrangement, and we could cohabitate and split the bills 50-50. Since we wouldn't be married any longer, we would both be free to part ways at any time without any strings attached. She is determined to win my trust back and show me how much she still loves me. Hopefully, our therapist can help us form a new set of rules as roommates, and we will see where things go from here. Oop updates a little in the comments. Mini update November 13th, 2023. I hear what all the comments are saying, but at this point, I can't legally just kick her out. But I have got our finances separated. All the credit cards cancelled and half of the money has been moved to a separate account. I told Dee she could stay on my insurance till the first of the year. Our regular counseling session is on Tuesday, and I have already emailed our therapist with a heads up on our relationship change. I moved all of Dee's things into the spare bedroom. The last couple of days I've been love-bombed. Dee wants to pump the brakes now on the open relationship and put the divorce on hold. I let her know that both of those ships have sailed and we would just have to ride them out and see where they take us. But it is unlikely that we would get back to where we were. Last night she got all made up and put on my favorite outfit. Probably some of the hottest sex we ever had, including her initiating a couple of things that were on her to-do list, and then more this morning. When we woke up, I gotta say that my friends have really been there for me these last 6 months. Most of them have been encouraging me to stay steady on the divorce. My sil has told me recently that her sister has had a crush on me for the longest time and wants to set me up with her. Update the 2nd of November 24, 2023. Update polybombed and opening up. Okay, I'm throwing in the towel. After the last 2 counseling sessions, Dee finally admitted she cheated and lied about her affair with Kim, but still doesn't show any remorse or that she feels like what she did was that wrong. She still tries to blame me for being controlling and dragging my feet on opening up. Our last session I gave her an ultimatum. 1. Back to monogamy. No contact with Kim. No divorce. 2. poly. No contact with Kim. Proceed with divorce and cohabitate. 3. We split. She can keep Kim. Separation and divorce. Dee thinks we can work out option 2 and still keep Kim. But I told her I felt like Kim instigated all this and her presence was a deal breaker for me. I'm still being love-bombed at home and pressured to give in to her desired outcome. I have been quietly looking at condos near downtown with the thought of moving out and letting her have the house for the next 6 months until the lease is up. I told her I wasn't going to Thanksgiving at her family's this Friday and was going to my parents' Thursday without her. I said tell them whatever you want, but I was telling my family the truth, which upset her. Her sister did text me about if anything was wrong and I told her Dee had an affair with another woman and we were getting a divorce. My hope is to be out before Christmas. If she spends the night or the weekend with Kim, I can be out before she realizes it. This is a repost sub IAM, not the oop. I hope that man runs far, far away. It's nice to see an OP with a spine. Yeah, he's probably dragged it out longer than needed. But he drew a line in the sand and stuck to it. So OOP's ex-wife has been cheating on him for a year before the initial conversation. Welp, at least he's on his way out. Just a friendly reminder not to sleep with your STBXW after she emotionally and physically cheated on you. Like, I feel like that's a fairly lukewarm take. And yet, poly relationships are very weird. I understand why couples or individuals become involved with poly relationships, but I always feel that poly relationships leads more conflicts and creates more messy moments. In all seriousness, this whole thing is just a big mess. OP really should consider stopping this, cause this entire thing is just making things more worse. He tried to do it right. Books, therapist, but she was already doing it wrong, affair. Why do monogamous men agree to open a relationship? Just because the AP is a woman? It's never made sense to me. As soon as she brings it up, it's over. You're not compatible. Just split while you can still do it amicably. I don't understand. Why doesn't the ex just go be with Kim? She clearly wants her and the feeling seems to be mutual. Look, sex aside, who goes to couples therapy after filing for divorce? Both seem to want to eat their cake and have it too. She cheats on him and pushes him into non-monogamy and lies about it all again and again. But still thinks she can win him back. All the while he's all, you cheated on me, lied to me repeatedly and broke my trust. But we'll bang okay. Just rip the band-aid and move on. Playing each other like this is toxic. People more familiar with the American legal system. Was the speed on getting those divorce papers served unrealistic or not? It seems like he got her served within a week. And not the next day. Right? Last year Dee told me she thinks she is bisexual and would like to explore having a relationship with a woman. I asked if she wanted to explore as in a hookup or a real relationship, to which she replied an actual relationship. And the rest was predictable from there. I don't understand these people who keep in having sex with their partners after being cheated on, initiating divorce, breaking up. Honestly, Dee sucks. But if her husband can be that chill about the end of their relationship, I don't get why she's fighting so hard for it. He doesn't make himself sound like a catch at all. Hopefully Kim or whoever will treat her better. That is, of course, assuming this is real and not just Liz going at it, which it sounds more like. Short, sweet and satisfying. Good update post. Someone just needs to get punched here. Is this Will Smith?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.